Every year in the early spring, countless thousands of swallows migrate north, where they will spend the summer, mate, and raise their young. Some of these birds journey thousands of miles during their yearly migrations. In the Western Hemisphere, the barn swallows winter in South America and move north in the spring. They spread out to different areas all across the continent, usually going back to the locations they left in the fall. Many of the swallows return year after year to the same place and often find the same mates. The male birds usually leave the south first and arrive first in the north. Many barn swallows go far inland to find the accustomed nesting places. Buildings such as this old barn provide an ideal location. This is a good place because it is quiet. There is also a small stream nearby. Here the swallows will find mud for their nests. And they will find insects for food. A male comes to the barn window. He has to make sure that the spot is safe. Inside, he finds a beam high above the ground. His nest will be secure here. As soon as he has selected the place for his nest, he begins preening to prepare for the arrival of the females. A few days later, the females begin flying in. They look almost exactly like the males, and they can be heard singing as soon as they arrive. This singing helps the birds to find each other. They pair off, and the courtship begins with a mating display. Then the male bird guides his new partner back to the site he has chosen for their nest. He waits inside while she looks in from the windowsill. Then she joins him to investigate the spot, and soon they will begin to build the nest. First, they must go to collect mud as a building material. They search for the right kind of mud at the stream bank. If it is too hard, they will not be able to shape it. If it is too soft, it will run. After they have found the right kind of mud, they take it back to the barn. They begin constructing the nest. First, they put the mud in with grass to make a foundation, just as a contractor does when he builds a house. Then they return for more material. But they work for only a little while each day, so that one layer of mud can dry before another is added. The nest takes them several days to build as they weave the mud and grass together, layer on layer. The swallow vibrates the loose mud into the nest with its beak. Notice how each blade of grass is knitted in with the others so that the nest will be strong and tight. Then the female shapes the nest with her body until it fits her as perfectly as if it were made by a tailor. Finally, the nest is lined with feathers to make it both soft and warm. This whole process has taken about 12 days. Now the female settles down to lay her eggs within the protective cup of the nest. She She will usually lay 4 or 5 bright speckled eggs. She settles the eggs together in the soft bottom of the nest and keeps them warm and safe with her body. For the next 15 days, the eggs will be warmed either by the male or female. One of them is on the nest almost constantly. By now, spring is over and summer has begun, and soon eggshells fall to the barn floor. The young swallows are being hatched and fed. The mother cleans the eggshells out of the nest. After the eggs are all hatched, the mother covers the nestlings with her body to keep them warm, for the babies have no feathers at all. Now the job of feeding the young begins. Insects are the basic food. The parents eat the insects and then regurgitate them for the young. One of the parents is out hunting for food most of the time. The young are growing so fast that they may eat their weight in food every day. Most of the insects are taken from the air as the swallows hunt on the wing. And at night, one of the parents still broods the babies, even though they are covered with down. After 2 weeks of this constant hunting and feeding, the young birds are beginning to develop feathers. Now they look more like their parents. And now they are hungrier than ever. The parents must bring back larger and larger insects for their young. Still, it seems that the young birds never get filled up. The parents range out over the nearby streams and ponds where insects are plentiful. And in their nest, the young birds are becoming more alert. They begin to watch insects that fly by them in the barn. Their hunting instinct is developing. Then, after about 3 weeks, the nest is empty. The young swallows have flown into the nearby trees, but they are not yet able to catch their own food. So the parents still do the hunting and feed them. The adults fly with such delicate precision that they can put food into the young birds' mouths without stopping or knocking them off the limb. But even though the parents still feed them, the young birds fly up and take their food on the wing. In a few days now, they will begin to forage for themselves. But now it is autumn. The leaves are falling, and the swallows begin to gather in the bare branches. The swallow population has multiplied many times. The trees are full of birds. They are getting ready to fly south again. Each day they seem to grow more eager and more nervous. Then, finally, the migration begins. They begin the flight that may take them thousands of miles deep into South America, where they will stay for the winter until seasons change again, and spring once more brings them back.